Hey guys, welcome back to Obscene Plant Scene, where I like plants and have a potty mouth. Today I'm going to do a video dedicated to one of my favorite plant genuses. Yeah, that sounds like the right word. Caladiums, also known as what I call them the prettier elephant ear or prettier colocasia. Down here in the south, I know some people call them the like the angel wings, because they don't really say that about begonia. They say that more about caladiums, but either way. So caladiums are a perennial here in zone 8B where I live. They don't do cold very well, so I would say if you're in like the northern part of the states, probably not going to be for you, at least not as an outdoor plant. But here where I live, we keep them outdoors. I keep some of mine outside all year, and then I have some that I dig up the bulbs and bring inside and put in my garage for the winter season. So, talking about the bulbs, this is what a caladium is. You may think, oh, that's pretty uninteresting. That looks like a lump of poop. So these are the bulbs that caladiums start as. If you look at this one, you can see that it's got the main bulb and then it's got a little offshoot here. So last year I planted this bulb, and then throughout the season it grew the baby. So what you will do is, typically if you order or buy caladiums online, they usually don't come with leaves, or if you find any like in stores, I know sometimes like big box stores will sell bags of bulbs of both colocasia and caladiums. So you will get a bag of bulbs that looks like this. Sometimes they will be more dirty or have like a bunch of roots hanging off of them that are dry. You can just pick those off. I like to get them down to where they're kind of clean, like this one is. And what I do is I start all of my new ones in pots, and then once they get established and have a couple leaves, then I will move them into the ground if they're varieties that I want to keep, or they're like my mother plants. So I have 20-ish different varieties of caladium, and every year I started with just like 4 or 5. I think 5 years ago now. This is my 5th year growing caladiums. But each year I'll add like 1 or 2 new ones, because I like experimenting and seeing what new ones they have. And I'm not into the really expensive caladiums yet that come out of like Thailand. They have some really expensive Thai hybrids that are, I'm talking triple digits expensive. The ones that I have are between like $5 and $10 with leaves. Like that's kind of where I'm at, because there's so many pretty ones that are in that price range. Why would I go for a crazy expensive one? At least yet. So yeah, once you get all your bulbs, you can clean them up really good so that they look kind of like this. And like I said, I start all mine in pots, so I will usually do like a 3-inch pot like this one. So this is a bulb that I planted about a week ago. I do a chunky soil mix, not like chunky soil-less mix. I basically take normal, because again these are all outside, I take normal houseplant soil, I will amend it with some bark or cocoa husks or anything that I have like that, and then chunky perlite, and then usually a little bit more regular perlite, just because the roots do need to breathe. They don't like to be soaking wet, because just like any other plant, they can suffer from root rot if they sit in wetness for way too long. So I will take my bulbs and I will go probably about between 1/2 and 1/3 of the way down in the pot and plant them, usually directly in the middle, and then fill it the rest of the way up, put my little tags in, because like I said, I have a lot of different varieties, so I need to ID this one, or ID them all. This is a berries and burgundy. I've had this one for this type, I think this is the 3rd year growing this one. So I will bury them like that, and then I put them in the front of my house in the entryway where I'm currently residing, and I will put them where they get morning sun but not afternoon sun. As far as timing, I wait until it's at least 50 to 55 degrees and higher at night. Now this year it was really delayed. We had a big snow this year, which we don't ever get here in Eastern North Carolina. So I ended up not planting the majority of my bulbs until, oh gosh, I think it was like May, like mid-May, which is really, really late because normally I start them in like April, early April. So usually by mid-May I have plants, not just planted bulbs. So that was kind of crappy because I really do love my caladiums. But yeah, once it gets consistently warm outside, especially overnight, then you will plant them, put them in a spot where they can get some sun, but keep them out of the afternoon sun because that gets really, really intense, at least where I live. So yeah, after you plant your bulbs, because I also have them in my entryway, they do get rained on. So any day that it doesn't rain, I will water them. I don't water them with anything special. I literally just pull, because I have so many, I literally just pull out my water hose and run it until the water's not scalding hot, and then I will just spray everything down really good. Nothing in particular. The soil mixes that I get already have slow release fertilizer in them, so I don't add anything extra. And that's pretty much it for like first stage caladiumness. So once you plant them, again, because caladiums are perennials, they grow really fast because they have a very short, not really short, but like they have a shorter lifespan throughout the year, or time when they're active versus dormant. So after a couple of weeks, you will start to see roots forming throughout your pots. And I like using the clear pots because then you can see the roots forming. You can see all of them there. This is a pink symphony. This is, I think year 4 of having this one. One of my top favorite caladiums. Oh my God. So after a couple weeks, you'll start seeing little roots form. And for the record, not all bulbs will come out of dormancy at the same rate. Some will be faster, some will be slower. I have noticed most of my fancy caladiums, they tend to root and sprout faster than my strappy caladiums. And I'll talk about the differences in those whenever I show you guys some leaves. So yeah, after a couple of weeks, you'll see some roots forming on them, and then you can start being on the lookout for spikes. So if you're not familiar with spikes, there are some plants, tulips, callas, peace lilies, a lot of different kinds like that, colocasias, alocasias, caladiums, different types like that, that come from bulbs or rhizomes or tubers or anything like that. They will go through from root stage to spike stage. Yes, this does look absolutely hilarious. This is Spicy Lizard. This is my first year having this one. Very excited to see what it looks like. This is my furthest along Spicy Lizard. Yeah, all the rest of them are also in spike. So once I get to this stage, like I said, I call it in spike because this is the beginning of what will be the first leaf. Once it gets to this stage, I will usually move them to a greenhouse or move them back away from the sun a little bit, because when the first leaves come out, you obviously don't want them burning and scalding off in the sun. Just like any other plant, caladiums can get sunburnt if you leave them out in like the scorching heat. So you don't want to do that. So once they go from little spikes like this, then they will go into what I call big spike. This is a Florida Beauty. I've had this one for 2 years. This is the spike that you saw before. It will start like this, and then this is the leaf sheath that's protecting the leaf as it's coming out, and then the leaf separating out. So once they're in this stage, you know that you've got around probably like 3 days, maybe 4, depending on the temperatures. Again, they like it warm and humid. Between 3 and 4 days, then this leaf will be fully open and you can like actually see what the leaves look like. So yeah, this is probably 4 weeks after I planted these. So you're looking at just a month before you have a full plant. So once your plants go from that big full spike, within a few days, like I said, they will open up into these beautiful, pretty leaves. This is a debutante variety. I've had this one for this is my third year growing this one. This is one of the whiter varieties, and then it's got really intense veins on it, and then it's got a little red sinus, I think is what that's called, in the middle where it connects. Dark colored sinus, right, or red colored sinus, I should say, right there. And this is one bulb with one leaf. What will happen is as it grows throughout the season, the one bulb that's in here will sprout out, and more shoots will come out and more leaves will come out, and it will go from being a one leaf pot to a multiple leaf pot. So once it gets to this stage, I will usually wait until, once the first leaf comes out, I'll try to wait until there's like 2 or 3 leaves. But even at this stage, once it's got like good roots in there and the leaf is solid, it may be pushing out another leaf soon, kind of feels pregnant. You can go ahead and move it into a bigger pot, or you can move it into the ground, depending on where you want to keep it for the season. So getting back to what I brought up before about fancy versus strappy. So this debutante is a fancy leaf caladium, and it's got the heart-shaped leaves that most elephant ears and caladiums are very known for. This is another example of one. This is my first year having this one. This is a seafoam pink. Y'all, I'm so obsessed. Also, the leaf of this one, absolutely fucking massive. Look at her. Ooh, it's also like really hard to show you. So you can see it's got the pretty heart shape, and the pink is almost like translucent. Like you can literally see my hand behind it. It's so pretty. But these are fancy caladiums. Now fancy caladiums, like I said, are the ones that have the heart shapes. They tend to stay more compact. The leaves tend to stay more, like they'll be more compact but taller, if that makes sense. Almost like a alocasia, where it'll get like tall and then I know that makes sense to some of y'all. Here's another example of one. This is a freckles. So you can see where it gets the namesake, all the little spots. This leaf is my favorite. Like, come on, it's a freckled Irish gal. This is what I'm about. Like, get the fuck out of here. So pretty. But yeah, so like you can see what I mean, where it's got a whole bunch of leaves, but they're like all kind of compacted together like that. Those are the fancy leaf. And then the strap leaf caladium look totally different. So instead of having the heart-shaped leaf, this almost gives like anthurium vibes. This is a Harrison strap caladium. This is my first year having. I'm obsessed. I will keep this one because sometimes I will add new varieties, and then if I am not a huge fan of them, I won't buy them again in future years, just because I have grown it, I've tried it, not a fan. But look at how cool this leaf is. Most of the strappy leaves have like the ruffly edges. This is one other leaf on it. Like, look at how cool that is. Almost looks like buttered lettuce or something. Don't eat these, by the way. Don't eat. This is bad. It is bad for you. Contains oxalate crystals that are nasty. Make you very sick. And pets. Not good for pets. Not good for kids. No chomping. Even though it looks like lettuce, no nomming. So this is one example of a strappy leaf. And then this is another new one that I got this year. Ooh, y'all. Is that not so cool? This is a white lightning, and it is one of the neatest little caladiums I think I've ever had. Like, what? It almost looks like a lily. It's so cool. Also, you'll notice on some of mine, they do have blooms. Mine bloom prolifically once they start going. That's just the nature of having caladiums. They're very similar to peace lilies, where they will bloom, not flowers, but those weird, like, I don't have any that are open, but those like round spadix looking things. I've never tried pollinating, just because they grow from, or I just separate off and reproduce them that way. But I do tend to cut them off. I left this one on just so I can show you guys my Harrison strap. This one is dying. So it will go through the first stage where the round bit opens, and then it'll be like the white spadix inside, like I said, like a peace lily. That is the female receptive to pollen stage. Once it goes through that stage, it will then move into the male stage where it can be, like, you can pollinate other stuff with it. And if you look at this one, like, it's crispity crunchity, and the pollen gets everywhere, like gets on everything, just dusty, disty, nasty shit. So usually once they get to the female stage, I'll go ahead and cut them off. I've not noticed a difference in my plants between cutting them off and leaving them. I just, like I said, don't like the pollen getting everywhere, so I just chop them down. So like I said, these are perennials, so as they grow throughout the year, they will keep producing leaves and keep producing leaves and keep going and looking great. And then as the temperatures start to go down in, I mean, at this rate where we are, the temperature's even gonna drop, as it's a million fucking degrees outside. As the temperatures start to drop, once it gets to, like, I don't know, this year is probably gonna be November before the temperatures drop. But your plants will start losing leaves like it normally does, but it will not be putting out any new growth. Once my caladiums get to that point, I will deadhead them. So I will take the plants, and then I will cut all the leaves off to level with the soil or the top of the pot. And then I will let them dry out completely. I do not put my caladium away wet. That is how you ask for them to rot into nothing mushness. Once I deadhead them, I will let them completely dry out, and then depending on if it's a variety that I'm going to be keeping or a variety that I will be selling, because I do sell the ones that I don't really care for, or I do also propagate and sell them. So once I have ones that I've decided I don't want to keep, or ones that I will be propagating to sell, I will take ones that I'm going to get rid of, deadhead them, let them dry, and then I will dig the bulbs up and then label them and put them in brown paper bags in my garage. You want to keep them dry, you want to keep them cool, you want to keep them dark, so that you don't introduce rot or fungal issues or anything like that as they're stored over the season. Also, I keep them in brown paper bags, because if you seal them up in like a plastic bag, you are asking for any little hint of moisture in there to rot them and get moldy and fungusy, and you don't want that. So put them in something that's somewhat air permeable. If they are ones that I'm going to be separating, or ones that I'm going to sell like babies off of the next year, I will take the bulbs like this one. I think this is a blushing bride. Yeah, this is a blushing bride. So I will take these and I will keep the mother bulb, and then I will take this little baby and I will literally, I'll show you with this one, I will pop it off. So now I have two. And then what I like to do is I will keep this one, and then I will put this one in a pile with any other blushing brides that I have to sell the next year. And then when it comes to potting them up next year, since this one is a smaller one, I will try to do like 3 of these in the same pot, because I like to make sure that the pot is full. Like, I'm also not going to sell a caladium that's got 1 bulb, 1 leaf. Come on, that's wild. Because small bulb, the leaf is going to take a minute to get big, and this is going to take a minute to grow. So I will just put this aside in a bag and save it for next year, while I will pot it up with some other ones. So that is, I believe, happy summer. That is, I believe, the extent of all of the caladium knowledge that I have to share with you guys. If you have any questions, or if you have any varieties that you like that maybe I don't have, or if I have any varieties that are available that maybe you would like, I do ship. So just let me know down in the comments below what your thoughts are on caladiums. If you're not a big fan, if you're also obsessed with them like I am, let me know. But other than that, you guys have a wonderful day or night wherever you are located. Thanks so much and happy planting.